Right, I'm just making a quick video. I don't give a shit who sees it. If you see it, you see it. If you don't, I don't care. But it's about the rockshox reverb. I'm just taking a few of them apart to rebuild because I've had them for ages. But it was never a great design. It was poorly designed. Okay, when they work, they're great, but they fail too often and too easily, and they require quite a bit of maintenance. Now, I'll tell you what the main problems with it. Well, the main issues that most commonly occur. This piece here, right? I don't know what Loctite they use on it, but it's a non-permanent one, which goes onto this thread here, right? So that is the first thing that I always find comes loose on them. This always wiggles loose. When that comes loose, it doesn't hold this fully in, and then you've got this piece here, which has got a recess. It's got 3 recesses, right? Little slots, little cutout slots. What happens is that goes in and out of there, and what happens is you've got these sacrificial brass keys, these little keys here, right? And they're your bushings, or they would be if there was a bearing in here, right? If there was a bearing in here, that would probably be a better idea. I don't know, but I'm not going to go into design stuff. I'm just saying what I find the issue with these rockshox reverb things are. Like I say, when they're working, great bits of kit, especially for descending and ascending. You know, they're really good when they first come out. But they was obviously first model that came out. RockShox Reverb made it. Right now, Fox and all the other companies are doing it. They've learned from RockShox mistakes. But you got these little brass keys, and they wear out, and they're basically sort of guides and bushings, and they obviously get thinner and thinner as they wear, and then you get a bit of wobble. You get a bit of wobble on there, and if you don't keep up the maintenance on it, you end up scoring these shaft here. You end up scoring that, and problem is with scores is if it's got a seal on it. If you've got a seal, then you're going to get leakage. But yeah, what happens is on this part anyway, is these keys go in here and they rub up and down inside these tubes here, right? And you can see the mark there. There's a little bit of mark in there. But yeah, they rub up and down there, and in fact they're actually slotted in there. So yeah, they've got grooves in there to guide them. But you see them in there. But yeah, that's the main issue with these. And then the other third issue is obviously the hydraulic fluid, or the fluid that you use in it. Over time, hydraulic fluid actually absorbs moisture from the air. It absorbs moisture, and then the viscosity of the oil is not as, I'm not good with words, but basically the viscosity of the oil becomes more like it has more water ingress in it, and it's not as effective as what it was once. So you need to flush it. You need to put new oil in it, like hydraulic brakes. Any of these things, they absorb moisture, and that's when you need to change the oil. But also it just doesn't do the job anymore, and then you get air bubbles in the oil, and you need to bleed it because you can't compress air. Basically, you can't compress air. I mean, you can, but if the air bubbles are there, it won't let you. It just won't operate as it should. So you need to bleed the bubbles out, like hydraulic brakes. Like I say, you get air bubbles and that you have to get them out. But so yeah, the main things is this here comes loose. Secondly, these brass keys or bushings or whatever you want to call them, they basically wear loose over time, and then you get a bit of head shake on it, and you get a bit of, and then obviously this needs to go in and out of this fucking thing here. This needs to go in and out of here, up and down, perfectly, because if it starts going at an angle, then it doesn't. It's not. The weight's not distributed evenly, and you're putting your whole body weight on that, pushing it down, and then it starts to score and damage, and the keys start to, wear at the wrong angles. I mean, these ones look alright. I don't know if these ones look fairly new, but if you look at an older one, you can see this is, like I say, this one's alright, but you would see wear on it at an angle. you'd see where. I might do another video, but I'm just saying they aren't the best. They aren't the best. It might be RockShox, and people think, oh, you know, RockShox, big company. You would have thought they would have put a bit more design into it. I'm not saying that it's shit. It's fairly impressive, but you know, they gave it a bash, didn't work out. Fox and all the other companies came in, learned from their mistakes. And the way I see it is the people that buy these, the end user, the consumer, in anything on the market, we're the guinea pigs. But these companies want our money to keep manufacturing and producing these and to design them and put the money back into designing and making them better over time. So the first ones, you know, you can buy like new bushings. I think SKF make them for these blue ones here. These sort of like greeny coloured ones. That's an updated. But you know, I mean, looking at these, I've taken a few apart. And this one here it's actually got a bolt head on it. It's got like a nut head on it. Yeah, so you can get grip on it. And then I found one that's older, or maybe I don't know if it's older or newer, but I would have believed it's older. It doesn't have that on it because obviously there's no way of getting grip of that to take it off. But they did, you know, chamfer it off here so you can get a spanner on it. But they decided, I think, maybe to use a 10mm. It was like a 10mm nut head on it to get it off, which is, you know, well, that's a 9mm there. So look, yeah, it's like a 10. So yeah, they put a 10mm nut head on it, but you know, all it is really is just a load of fucking tubes, yeah, with an O-seal and backing rings on them. And these backing rings, you see, it's got a little, it's kind of like tapered so it overlaps each other. And the problem is people that aren't familiar with these sort of things, they fuck them up and they don't put these backing rings on correctly. You know, I mean, that's not too bad, that taper, but some of them some backing rings are really, really tapered and you can quite easily miss it. I mean, really thin ones I've worked with before, but yeah, you know, I mean, look at the state of stuff that comes off. It's just not the best design, to be honest. But like I say, they are good. They are good little things. And to me, they're quite simple. You know, they're quite simple little things, really. You've got a poppet valve in there and some other crap. They're quite simple things, but they do require a lot of maintenance. And I think that's the problem is they put them out maybe too early and they didn't really test them properly. They could have given these to people to ride for maybe a year or two, then developed it, see where the issues were with it, but they never did, and that's the problem. And then now there's loads of these on the market. People just don't have a clue how to work on them, how to operate them, you know, and they're not even that difficult. No, that's just lack of maintenance. What else have we got? There's something else on there. Where was it? Yeah, I mean, I'm finding as well. This here is obviously like little O-seal on there. You should never really need to use anything sharp on an O-seal. You should be able to pinch it like that, right, and get it off. I mean, you should be able to squeeze that like that, get a gap in it, and then you can use if you need to, you can use a little pick in there, just, you know. But you should never stab. You should never use the pick to remove an O-seal because you'll damage it, and if you damage it, you'll get leakage, and if you and it'll break even worse. But you can see this has been compressed. This O-seal here, this O-ring, yeah, been compressed. It's kind of like perished a bit because it's rubber, and it's flattened. So you need to maintain these things, or people just get them, they use them. Like most people, they're lazy in the world. They buy stuff, they use it because they paid a lot of money for it. They think it's just going to last, and they don't maintain it, and then they just use it until it breaks, then they just chuck it, or they just sell it, or say, oh, it's fucked. But it doesn't actually, there's not much tools to it. You can buy a kit online to bleed them and all this. You buy a container of oil. I think I don't know, don't quote me, I've not worked on these things for years, but there was I think it's like 400 hours or something like that. It says maintenance, you know, you need to do a service on it every so many hours. Like most things, it requires maintenance. But people just don't bother with these things because I think the sort of people that buy them, like mountain bikers or cyclists, they just don't, they're scared to take the things apart. I mean, it's a pneumatic and it's hydraulic. It's two sections to this dropper post, yeah? I think it's 250 psi, so you need a pump. And then it's got oil in it as well, and I've actually got the height setting tool, IFP height setting tool. So I got that from Germany. I think it's like 40 quid. But yeah, buying these things, you can get them for 100 quid now, I think. But if you buy all the kit to maintain them, it can be pricey, which is I think is why people don't bother. Or you can just pay a bike shop to do it for you. But they if you have the knowledge, it's you don't need to buy all the tools, and it's a bit of faffing. But I just think that yeah, it was a good effort of rockshox, but I just think you know like the bike market, like a lot of things now, they just want you to go back and pay someone to repair it, like a service centre or something. And I had a specialised rock shop, a specialised rock hopper expert Evo carbon fibre thing, and I broke the frame, and I bought some parts to before I broke the frame, I tried to get some, I bought some bits for it, and I asked the specialised people if you could put the parts on, and they said they won't do it because it hasn't been bought from them. So the whole bike industry is just a big scam, in my opinion. It's just a one big rip off. You know what I mean? But I understand all this stuff, so it's like it really is just there's nothing to it. Just a few fucking nose seals, little backing rings, little tubes, and you know, if you really wanted to, you could probably make this yourself if you wanted to. I'm not saying everyone could, but it's not. There's nothing really. But yeah, you would have thought from rockshox they would have made it. It is pretty simple, but they would have made a better job of it. And now these things, yeah, I think people realise that they don't like them. They think they're shit, and in some ways they are. They are shit. But I will always use them because I know how to fix them, and they're quite simple for me. They're not difficult, but like I think for most people, and the market was quite big for bikes. Most people buying these, they don't have the tools, they don't have the know-how, the knowledge, and they were always scared to take them apart. But they aren't difficult, and I think if people have them, they should take them apart and spend a bit of time with them if they enjoy using them, because these things are cheap now, and you can buy these and use these for like 20-30 years if you build up your spares for them. And there's no need to buy the latest ones. You just learn how to rebuild them, service them. There's not much to them really. It's just mainly rubber seals and oil change. That's it. And some brass keys to change. Yeah. And also, all of these seat posts I've taken apart. They're all different heights. So 380, 420. And I'll tell you one thing they've all got in common. This part here is all the same height on every single one. These are just stock. And what they do, they just use this height spacer to make up for the length of tube. So the tubes themselves are all different heights. They're all different heights. Let's get this one. Let's check it. Let's confirm that I am speaking correctly here. 420, 420. No, I believe they are. Anyways, check this one out. I've got quite a few of these. I've just started to take them apart now. The 420, 420. These are all 420s. Yeah, I think they're all 420s, but I might do another video. I'm just start taking a few of them apart. But yeah, I just thought, I'd just give my point of view on them, my take. It was a good effort from rockshox, but for most people, yeah, if you don't have the knowledge how to fix these, then they're a pain in the arse, and you'll constantly be getting them fixed. And if you're out on the trail or you're cycling, let's say you're touring and you've got one, and you're touring around the world or something, and you've got one of these, yeah, you're fucked. If it breaks, you've got these little locking device which you clamp round it to stop it going up and down. But yeah, this is all right if you've got your own little workshop and stuff. But if you're just a person buying these, unless you want to keep going to the bike shop and getting someone to fix it every, I'd imagine, 3-4 months, depending how often you ride, then yeah, they're not very good. For me, I can fix these. I've got tools and equipment and a know-how, but for most people, I would probably steer clear, to be honest. Unless you, like I say, you've got money to keep going to the bike shop and getting them to do it. But yeah, I still like I say, I like them. I think they're good when they work. I can fix them. I can use them. I'm happy. But yeah, it was a bit of a fucking shit show. They made these reverbs, banged them out on the market. Everyone grabbed them. What's it called? The FOMO crew fear of missing out, everyone jumps on the bandwagon, and then they're stuck with these fucking pieces of shit. But yeah, that's my take on it. Right, nice try, RockShox, but get back to the drawing board, yeah.